Hi, I'm Nelson, and this is the Sir Nelson English School. In this school, we help you to improve your reading, writing, speaking, and listening skills. We also help you to pass the IELTS test. In this particular video, we are going to use the famous story, the famous novel, The Story of Beauty and the Beast. We are going to use it to practice our indirect speech. Remember, indirect speech is the same as reported speech. Indirect speech or reported speech is a problem to many students. Why? There are very many changes that take place. In this particular video, we are going to try to make it easy. Remember, anything difficult, do it again and again. When you repeat something difficult, it becomes easy. We are going to go through together, listen, and copy the indirect speech in your book. By writing, you will be able to practice and learn indirect speech with time. As you can see, the most important thing in indirect speech are the reporting verbs. Words like told, added, requested. First, direct speech. The next one is the indirect speech. I want you to analyze and see how I make the changes. Get changes to got. Call changes to called. I want you to see that I use the reporting verb told because these are words said by someone. Listen to this later. Told them to listen. Added, requested. You can practice. I've covered the indirect speech such that you can try to see if you remember. I want you to notice the direct speech and the indirect speech. Remember, we discussed this in class and we passed through this. Now it is time for you to write in your book. You can use this slide to practice your indirect speech. I want you to look at the direct speech and the indirect speech and see the changes that I have made. Those changes are the ones which disturb. So when you notice them, you will be able to use the reported speech or indirect speech. Use this slide to practice. I want you to notice the changes that I make while changing this paragraph from direct to indirect speech. Use this slide to practice. You do the same here. Look carefully at the direct speech and see the changes that I have made when writing the indirect speech. Use this slide. You can pause the video and practice. Notice the changes that I make when I'm changing sentences from direct to indirect speech. Use this slide to practice your indirect speech. Do the same here. Indirect speech, direct speech, and indirect speech. Practice. See the changes that I made from when changing the paragraph from direct to indirect speech and learn. Use this slide to practice your indirect speech. Do the same here. Notice the changes that I make and practice. See the changes I make. Use this slide to practice. Do the same here. Direct and indirect speech. I want the emphasis to be on the indirect speech. Use this slide to practice. Do the same here. See the changes that I made and practice.